peace be upon you. Don't you get bored waking up to the same alarm sound every day? Changing the alarm sound changes the tune of your day. Wouldn't you like to wake up to a beautiful voice saying, "Rise, O Sultan," or a gentle voice telling you, "Rise for the dawn prayer, O Sultan"? Returning from dawn prayer, feeling joyful, you find breakfast ready, eating happily, you go to work content, spreading smiles, you carry much happiness, making others smile when they see you. Happy outside the house, happy, O Sultan. You sleep with your heart free from the mobile, and from those who see the mobile, and from the girls, and from those who see the world. All this you sleep alone, even the air you can't hold it. A wise man said, he sleeps anxious and his heart is free, and he wakes up thinking about what burned his heart the night before, meaning you sleep free and wake up free. Until when will you endure this heat? I remembered a story about someone who completely rejected the idea of marriage. His family tried to convince him to get married, his friends tried to convince him to get married, even his closest friends said it's perfectly fine to get married, but he completely rejected the idea of marriage. He was the type who mocked married people. For instance, if he was with a group of married folks and one of them got a call from his wife saying, "Come home quickly," you know the kind of person who ridicules married couples? Yes, he is of good character and he jokes about these things. But he reached a point where he even made fun of married people. And he reached the age of 30, 40, 50 until someone managed to convince him to get married. So he got married. Friends and relatives visited him the next day, knocking on his door, but received no answer. On the third and fourth day, they decided they must check if he was alive or dead, so they came and knocked again. The last time he told them, he didn't want to be bothered by coming out to them, and later he emerged both very happy and very angry. He expressed his surprise at the beauty of marriage and the pleasure it brings. He was upset that they didn't get married sooner or convince you, even though he was the reason behind the delay. Oh Sultan, wouldn't you like children resembling you to be around, bothering you with a sweet annoyance? You see, this sweet annoyance comes from having people of your own flesh surrounding you. The messenger says, "Peace and blessings be upon him. The work of the son of Adam is cut off except from three things: a running charity, or knowledge, or a benefit from it, or a righteous son who prays for him." What do you want? A righteous son prays for you. Do you know this righteous son? After death, anything good you taught him, you will take a share of this reward, meaning you taught him the Fatiha, so he reads the Fatiha, he takes a reward, and you take a reward. Consider the knowledge and good that will come to you from this righteous son. Also after death, he prays for you. I mean, by God, you would want to go back home and see the good food ready and eat with the beautiful woman instead of you sitting between four walls and sleep on the floor and rush on the floor and get up on the floor. I mentioned the hadith about beauty. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says the world is enjoyment. I mean my enjoyment. You enjoy it as a human and you benefit from it. The world, all of it is enjoyment. And the best enjoyment, this world, the world, in the sense of the hadith, the righteous woman, imagine you take the best enjoyment in the world. The righteous woman is better than all of this. And above this, you can enjoy all the enjoyment of this world with the righteous woman. Are you saying, son of halal, that there's no money? No money in money? Banji? To this point, don't rush. But the important question here is, why should I get married? I don't know, you didn't hear the things I said a while ago, but I tell you why it's important. If we go back 1,400 years ago, and in this chaos around us and the enchantment in it, at this time I tell you to get married? Yes, at this time I say to you to get married. So what about you now? I mean, let's be honest, don't you see the chaos around you? You open the mobile phone, you open any new account, you must get temptations as if the woman is the one targeted by all kinds of advertisements, a woman's shaving machine, a woman's car box. What's going on? I don't know things for men. The temptation of a woman appears around you everywhere. Whether a man or a woman, you open your account, a woman appears to you as a temptation. You go to the market in temptation around you. You go to hospitals if you are sick and also get treated in temptation. Makeup, half a kilo, and it smells like it's on display. Thank God, now the state has put conditions and laws that have alleviated all these scenes. Thank God I am happy with this decision. Other than that, you can work in a job or live in a mixed environment, all women and men. The Prophet, peace be upon him, says, "I have not left after me any temptation more harmful to men than women," meaning the greatest temptation for a man is a woman. It's possible for a man to resist the temptations of money, but he may collapse when faced with the temptation of a woman. That's why marriage is the only solution. It's almost impossible to live a happy life without marriage, let alone your life without marriage. 99% at least will be unhealthy, you might say. But in other solutions, like fasting, exercising is healthier than eating less. But marriage is not just lust and intercourse, but marriage is cohabitation, housing, affection, family and children, and a complete life altogether. You reminded me of the story of the doctor. He tells me that young men who have not practiced self-control, he says if you are a man or a young man, and young man, your lust is about to explode, practice self-control. I mean, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Oh young people, whoever among you can afford it, let him get married." He told them to go and practice self-control. And who can't afford it? The Prophet, peace be upon him, advised fasting as a shield. He encouraged fasting as much as possible and practicing self-control. It's him. This is the doctor who says he's going to marry my daughter. He can go to her and take her for a month, honey, for a month, but he can go anywhere. I won't interfere. How can you trust fatwas or information from him to be fundamentally correct? That's why fasting and abstinence are solutions. Yes, but they can't be a substitute for marriage. And referring back to the secret relationship clip I talked about, you'll understand everything. I explained everything in it. There is no alternative to marriage, only marriage since the time of Adam, peace be upon him, until the end of time. The alternative to marriage is marriage. You might be surprised, Allah, you've got us working on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. A husband marries his wife, a husband who is married to one and can marry two. He is capable and can marry. Brother, you get married, bring us talk from the door of experience, don't philosophize on us, okay? First of all, I'm telling you something that Islam encourages. I mean, I want your good even if I'm not married. Let's all decide to stay single. What's this obsession? If I were to tell you this from a door of experience as well, why would I say more of this from a door of experience too? I've been married for more than 20 years, so when I tell you this, it's from experience. If you're of age and capable, get married right away. And if you're of age and capable, as soon as a suitable one comes to you, get married. Don't wait forever. See, college, studying, working, all these things you can do while you're married. It's normal. I mean, I know hundreds of cases of married people who study, work, pursue higher degrees. Life didn't stop. On the contrary, this marriage helped them greatly in their studies, in their work.
In fact, marriage made these things easier to do as a couple. Some people complain and say they want to get married, but they can't. Honestly, look, I mean for the sake of honesty.
I think 90% of them are just excuses. Because if a young man really wants to get married and he works towards it and trusts in God before anything else, he will get married. Personally, I have never seen anyone who truly wanted to get married and didn't. In fact, some of them marry once, twice, or even 3 times. You start saying, I want to get married, meaning if it comes, no, you actually stay, you get married, work on the causes and trust in, no, you actually stay, you get married, work on the causes and trust in God before everything. And tell your mother, tell your father, tell your siblings, tell your community that I am getting married. Find me a decent girl, start and become a man, and tell me why not get married. So indeed, marriage, yes, I am with it. Marriage needs effort, it needs money, but you take the courses and make this marriage one of the most important goals in your life. Don't make it a side goal. Like what women and Germans, for example, don't tell you, marriage comes afterwards, first thing. See your life, your job and your work. No, marriage is the first thing. But some men have impossible expectations for women. Very tall, very beautiful, very dark, very white. Her hair flows to the ground, her eyes are wide, her eyebrows are carved. What is this? Be realistic. What about you? Are you only attracted to one type? Or for example, one without any beauty? No, beauty is also required, but be realistic. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said a woman is married for 4 things, meaning a man seeks a woman for marriage for 4 things: her wealth, her social status, her beauty, and her religion. Prioritize a religious woman with good character. As the saying goes, may your hands be rubbed with dust. Also, some men, for example, delay marriage, or they think it's impossible because they believe that marriage comes with high costs. The gate must be 40 meters long, just the gate is 40 meters, and the party must have cake, and there must be 2 bands, and Italian meat, and French meat, and other obligations. Things, and costs, and the wife who we make a ceremony for before the marriage, and a ceremony after the marriage, and the next day, and the honey month comes to calculate all these things. He sees that no, by God, the costs are high, not in marriage. No, you mean you have a wedding in mind? This, no, you mean you have a wedding in mind, this. Brother, are you valuing your marriage based on what you can afford? Would you say, brother, that you value your marriage based on what you can afford? Tell me. You shouldn't go for girls who have many demands, go for the girl who has few demands. A man should respect and protect her. That's why you shouldn't marry a woman from a very rich class, too rich. I mean, you can't afford to maintain her at this level. You take her from a palace and live her in a room with a bathroom and kitchen. It doesn't mean she is in her house, in her palace. I mean, in her palace, she does such requests that don't come to her. And even if she came to your house, she does like this. There is a difference. I mean, I'm not telling you it's impossible. Marrying a rich woman is not possible, but marrying a poor woman is possible. An Egyptian woman, a Saudi woman, or a Yemeni woman. The most important thing is she's Muslim. Yes, all this is possible, but also be realistic. He means a region, for example, the Gulf countries, you feel that the customs, he means a region, for example, the Gulf countries, you feel that the customs are from some. Every time you take one close to you, from some, every time you take one close to you in the dialect, for example, in customs and traditions. This is better, even if the marriage is from anyone from any place in the world, as long as she is Muslim and fears God. Some fathers are normal. He puts a very expensive dowry. He is selling and buying on his daughter's head. I have 3 daughters. How much do you want? By God, I want one. I give you. It's 100,000, 100,000, this, 100,000. No, 100,000, this, 100,000. No, 100,000. This is the dowry. You have to bring her a network worth 200,000, and you have to bring her a car with a driver, and you have to bring her a house under the sea. How under the sea? I don't know. I asked this father for many requests, and he tells you, by God, my daughters don't get married. By God, father, do you think you are accountable for these matters? My brother, you are in the dowry and you are in the requests. Let God put the blessing in this marriage. And first we say that it's just the fathers who did these actions. They said no, even in daughters. Their requests are exaggerated. He must be 6 feet tall, have a curved back, be rich, and his minimum salary should be 20,000 per day. Why all these requests? Why the exaggeration? Is this exaggeration? This girl doesn't want to get married. She's gonna waste her time. She's gonna walk around. Isn't she interested in marriage? Is she even taking on responsibility? If a girl makes excessive demands, politely suggest she find someone else more compatible, even if it means helping her leave. Don't miss out on other opportunities by trying to meet unreasonable expectations. And you'll see, you won't be able to get on with the first, second, or third station. You might not even be able to catch a bicycle. God says in his verses on this earth, and one of his signs is that he created for you from yourselves spouses that you may find tranquility in them, and he placed between you affection and mercy. Indeed, in that are signs for a people who give thought. Meaning, God created for men spouses to dwell with them, to be affectionate with them. See the word, how does this wife live? Live, dwell with her and to her and reassure her, and between you becomes affection and mercy. Therefore, a woman needs a man in her life, a man she is proud of, a man who supports her in her life, a man who respects and protects her. A woman needs a man. The women who may laugh at your minds do not need a man. You are 100 men. I mean, by God, take this information. Why does the woman say this? If someone told her, for example, that you are 100 men, she would be happy. But if one told her you are 100 women, she would not be happy. Because she knows that the man has value. He has value in a woman's life, you would say, because you are you. What's the problem? No? Who said anything about marriage? There's no problem with marriage. It's just a part of life. Problems have existed since the time of Adam, peace be upon him, and will continue until the end of time. All marriages have their problems, small or big, but mostly they are happy. The positives of marriage surely outweigh the negatives. Don't give me any excuses. I mean, comparing your problems while you're single to the problems of marriage. Uncle, what are the problems of marriage? What are the problems of marriage? Marriage becomes sweet when it overcomes problems. The Prophet, peace be upon him, says, marry the loving and the fertile, for I will boast of your numbers among the nations. I have a lot of children and daughters I plant. If you prioritize God above all else, including marriage, you can live a beautiful life. I ask God to marry every bachelor and to provide every woman with a righteous husband and to provide every man with a righteous wife and their lives to be happy. We have reached the end. I pray that God makes this content a continuous source of blessings and charity for us and all Muslims in life and beyond. Peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you.